Hey everybody, it's Sophie and Marco. Dish on the movies. This is our last, is this a kids movie video? And then we're going to actually do some horror movies, which we missed the entire month of October, but we're going to make up for it in November. And then in December, we're going to do Christmas movies. Yay! Which I've already started watching. So anyway, we're doing Adventures in Babysitting, which came out in 1987. And I'm just going to read you the main characters. Uh, First of all, you have the babysitter and the babysittees. Elizabeth Shue plays Chris Parker. So that's Chris, okay? Then we have the kids. Keith Coogan, who's related to Jackie Coogan. Do you know who that is? Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. He plays Brad Anderson. Then we have Maya Bruton, who plays Sarah Anderson. She's the little girl. And then we have their Brad's friend, Daryl Coopers, and his real name is Anthony Rapp. Then a few of the supporting characters that really make a little bit of a difference in the movie. We have Vincent D'Onofrio. Hey, everybody knows who that is. He plays Dawson or Thor.
What did you just say? What's his name?
Vincent D'Onofrio? Okay, I guess I said it wrong or something.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh, okay, well, whatever. And then we have Mike Todwell. He's the villain, kind of.
No,
and
he's
his
not.
real name is Bradley Whitford, and he's been in a lot of different TV shows and movies, so you may know who he is. Then the last main supporting character is Brenda. She is Chris's friend, and I think you could say she's her best friend. And she's played by Penelope Ann Miller. And guess where she was? She played in the movie Pee-wee's Big Top, what is it?
Big Top Pee-wee.
And it was a long ways after this movie, so I recognized her, but I didn't. So now I know, but she's really good in this, and she looks a little different, but she's probably a lot younger. Okay, well, like I said, it premiered in 1987, and it takes place in Chicago. First, the suburbs, and then it moves to the city. And Elizabeth Shue is Chris Parker. She's a senior in high school, and it starts out, she dances around in her bedroom to what sounds like a 60s song. And I'm sorry I don't have the name of the song, but it's all women singing it, and it's girly and happy and goofy. She's happily preparing for a date with her boyfriend Mike. And after she gets dressed up in a nice black and white patterned skirt with a coordinated black shirt to go out to dinner, Mike shows up. He's kind of dressed like a slob, and she notices that. And he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, my sister's sick and my parents are going out, so I have to stay home with her." She offers to go there, and he says, "Oh no, we're all ill, and I might be contagious, and she definitely is, so you should come." So they don't have a date anymore, so she changes. Does that sound like a lame excuse? That's because it is one, but maybe we'll come back to that later. So Chris is going to have to stay home tonight. Boo-hoo! Her best friend Brenda, which we recently reviewed that movie, Pee-wee's Big Top Adventure.
Big Top Pee-wee, not Pee-wee's Big Top Adventure.
Big Top Pee-wee.
That's not an existing movie.
Whatever. She drops by. Brenda is a geeky, unsure of herself girl who wears black horn-rimmed glasses. But guess what? Brenda tells it like it is. She says Mike is lying and he's full of it. Of course, Chris doesn't believe her. They leave it at that, and Brenda starts complaining profusely about her stepmom. Chris tells her to go home and work it out. Meanwhile, Chris's parents get a call from Mr. and Mrs. Anderson. They need a babysitter. Reluctantly, Chris takes the job, even though the Andersons have some kind of reputation for making babysitting a challenge. When you hear that,
They do?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
She says that with Brenda. And she says, when you hear that, if you've ever babysat before, which I have, you think a 2-year-old child, thereabouts, or, somebody who cries or spoiled, demanding. But no, when she arrives there, the Anderson parents are going to a party in downtown Chicago. And Sarah, who is 7 or 8, is really the only kid Chris is supposed to be babysitting. Her brother, Brad, doesn't want to leave, though. He is going to go to his friend's house and spend the night. But when he sees it's Chris, and he's a freshman in high school, he has a crush on her big time. So his best friend Daryl stops by, and when he sees Chris, he decides that he understands why Brad wants to stay home, and he decides to stay there too. So, soon Chris gets a call from Brenda. She has run away, and she is at the City of Chicago bus depot and needs a ride home because how she got there was she took a cab and it took all her money. And she was there because she had planned to run away, but she changed her mind. So she wants Chris to pick her up.
And so then the whole movie is all about Chris and the kids going to Chicago to pick her up, okay?
That's
now,
right.
Can we review the movie now?
Yeah. This is when the fun begins. And ultimately, the answer to the question, is Mike, Chris's boyfriend, really at home taking care of a sick sister? Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Now I can review the movie. Okay, so what did you think about Christmas Chronicles? Oh, wait, I mean Adventures in Babysitting. What did you think about Christmas Chronicles?
What?
That Christmas Chronicle 1987. What did you think?
Whatever. There's some similar things.
Oh, see,
it's
now
a different movie, different circumstances.
Now that
they're
Sophie's
helping Santa, and they're not even from there.
Now that Sophie's actually seen the movie, she again
for the third time,
she knows
at least.
She knows what's up.
Well, that really doesn't matter to me because I liked both movies.
And funnily enough, Chris Columbus was the executive producer, or one of the top producers of Christmas Chronicles.
Oh, he was? Oh.
And so, there you go. Just in case anyone who watched that crappy review that we did questioned whether or not it was similar. But anyways, in fact, it actually goes along with one of the things that I have to say about this movie. And one of the things is that it's a flaw. It's that this movie didn't ever have any sequel or anything.
That's very sad.
And it's too bad because it's such an episodic movie. Like, it really feels like you could do a bunch of different themed sequels like they did with the Olsen twins. They did that Double Toil and Trouble, and To Grandmother's House We Go. And with this one of the things I said, you could have done Christmas Adventures in Babysitting. And that would have been really cool. Excuse me. And so maybe you could look at it like Christmas Chronicles is the Christmas sequel to Adventures in Babysitting, and it's like an anthology series. But anyways, with this movie, I really like this movie a lot. I have very little negative to say about it. I mean, what I mean by that is, like, I only have like one or two really huge flaws with the movie, but other than that, I don't have anything else negative to say. Because I first picked out this movie, and this is going to go along with our topic, is it a kid's movie? it looked like a kids movie. It it has this cover with all of them like hanging off the side of a building, and they all look like, hey, we're on this interesting, awkward slash fun adventure. And Safi and we got this at the library, and Safi got tricked into getting it, and she got really upset when we first watched it because they say the F word twice and they say another swear word or two. And so she was very upset that they say the F word in the movie. But I don't think that matters at all because ultimately this movie is a kid's movie. Completely. Because there's not going to be any teenager, and we'll talk about this in spoilers. I think we'll have to do a separate review since Safi took up 7 minutes explaining the movie. Uh, no teenager is going to want to watch this movie because this movie isn't relatable to teenagers. The main woman, she looks like she's in her 30s, the babysitter, and then the teenage boy, he has a horrible time the whole movie. Spoiler alert. Well, kind of spoiler alert. He he gets belittled and friend zoned and rejected and just everything by the babysitter. And like, I don't know what teenage boy is gonna want to watch this movie and just gonna watch it in this movie. Like multiple times in this movie, she's calling him like a kid, and she's saying, "Oh, he's a kid. He doesn't have any money." She's literally 2 years older than him. The characters. She's 17 and he's 15. They're 2 years apart, and she's calling him a kid. And she does this constantly the whole movie.
Yeah, she does.
And it's like, it's the most sickening thing ever. And it's such a downer and it's an part of the movie. And it doesn't go along with anything else in the movie. It sticks out like a sore thumb. And it makes me think that the writer of this movie, that he had an experience like this, and that he was secretly writing this movie to talk about that shitty experience where a girl that's 2 years older than him is calling him a kid. And also this movie, it was supposed to be made in the 60s, and it really feels like a 60s movie.
And then that song at the beginning,
That's from the
it's a 60s song.
And that's another thing, most of the songs in this movie that are played are 60s songs. Like the Beatles, there's a Beatles song in this movie. It's all from the 60s. And so this is a movie that was made 20 years late. In my opinion, kind of. I mean, I don't know if it would have helped the movie any if it was made in the 60s, but maybe they could have gotten a better actress to play the babysitter, because maybe they could have changed some things. I don't know. It's very weird. Very weird with that whole age thing. And, ugh. What do you think, Safi?
Well, I think it's definitely a kid's movie.
Yeah, see? Safi agrees.
And
We agree.
I don't think a little kid, like a 3-year-old, would care about it, but maybe tweens, something like that.
No.
12 to 13.
No. That's
Yeah.
a teenager.
Well,
No, they should be watching,
well that's
Texas.
6th grade.
They should be watching Texas Chainsaw, not
Okay.
Adventures in Babysitting.
I don't know.
I would say like 6 to 10.
I didn't know what this movie was when we saw it years ago. I thought it was that babysitter movie show that they had on. I can't think of what it's called, but it was a girl thing back then, and
I did find a movie.
Babysitter Adventures.
No, I did find a movie on Amazon called The Babysitter's Club.
Oh yeah, that's it. The Babysitter's Club. That's what I thought this was, and I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I don't think my boys are either, and so I never even gave it a second look, because I think when it was made, it was a time when I was extremely busy, and very busy. So I didn't go out. I didn't have much money,
But how could
and
it look?
so
How could it look like a girl's thing if there's mostly
well, there
boys
was
on a
one
cover?
girl in there, and I just thought that was just part of just like another story or episode or whatever. And
Oh, okay.
so when they got it, and then I heard that F word, and I thought,
Twice.
and it's not like I say the word myself probably way too much, but um, back then, I'm thinking as a mother with kids, and uh, I just I don't know, but when I saw the movie, I thought it was extremely funny, and then I saw it again, and maybe another couple times, and every time I see it, and even now, just watching it a few days ago, I thought it was hilarious. I laughed through the whole thing, and I think that says something really good about a movie. If you can watch it again after a million years and it's still funny, and even though maybe we looked at it critically, like is this a kids movie or is it an adult movie? Well, that's fine. But even after that, I still laughed. It was funny, and that's what really. And the thing is, it isn't that the main characters, which are the kids, quote unquote kids, and the babysitter. It's not just what they do. There's the supporting cast is really really good, and they're unique characters. And my two favorite characters especially are Brenda, who is a supporting character. Is everything she does, every scene she's
Yeah,
in, I believe is funny.
Brenda is better than the main babysitter.
Yeah, because she's just herself and she's honest. I mean, she's just an honest version of somebody. And like, you lay it all out there, and that's who you are. And you don't care because that's really who you are. And she was just funny. And I really liked that. And then I thought
I didn't like her as a kid because as a kid I thought she was a whiny little biatch, but I wasn't really taking it to be comedic
well,
because I thought that she was in like a serious situation as a kid, like oh she's and I thought what's with that creepy guy pulling his gun out and everything. And
he's talking about her
uh,
at the bus station.
but as I got older, I liked her a lot more, and I think that she is the best part of the movie, the best character in the movie,
Yeah,
and has all the best scenes in the movie.
she does. And then I thought the little girl was good. She's not real little. She's probably 8, maybe 7 or 8, probably 8. And I just thought she was a very she'll deadpan something, and or she'll punk somebody, and then she'll do this little giggle. I thought it was really cute. I just thought she was a really good actress, and she seemed to be adaptable to everything. And I don't know. I just thought that was nice, and she was just herself too. I don't think she was a fake. Sometimes when these people do their character, it just doesn't seem real.
Like a lot of kid actors,
And I don't know if it's the kid necessarily, or
like
it's the part with the lines
the
that they would never say in a million years.
the most fake kid that I think that I've seen might be Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. In the second one because he talks like an adult. Like a lot of these kid characters, like we were talking about Little Monsters, they
Mm-hmm.
talk like adults, and so it's really hard to take them like seriously. Like, oh, that's a real kid that would actually say something like that because they're talking like they're in their 20s. But in this movie, she was kind of kind of good. I mean, uh, she didn't really have to struggle with anything. Like
It could be she played herself.
I mean,
I don't know.
she was nice, but uh, she did certain things in the movie. I don't want to spoil anything until we do the spoilers, but she did some things, and I thought that they were negative, and and I mean, she is a kid, but still, if in the grand scheme of the movie, it affects the plot for me, and also it has to do with the ending, in case you're wondering, and then the beginning, stuff with that. But anyways, I think that my favorite scenes are definitely Brenda's scenes, and then the Blues Club scene, which was probably your favorite scene, and then I'm not gonna say who, or what is in this restaurant, but I really like the restaurant scene because it felt like it was. I like the scenes in the. I don't like in these comedies where people are just running around and like things are chaotic and like they have to go to somewhere, run away from someone, or do this and accomplish this. I like most in this movie when characters get to relax and get to be in places and just interact with each other without having to worry about oh, we gotta leave now because there's bad people, or we gotta leave now to go find Brenda. Like, I really like the scenes where people were relaxing and just able to have fun. And so I think that this movie, it had a lot of the other thing, though, a lot of the just running around, and but still, even with that crappy story plot, it still managed to be really funny and have all these cool, unique characters.
I love the characters.
So, what would you rate the movie, Safi?
Okay, well, since we're coming towards the Thanksgiving holiday, and because this is an ensemble movie, meaning it isn't just the babysitter and the kids, it's also tons of supporting characters who have bigger and little tiny parts, and just an assortment. I gave the movie a Thanksgiving dinner, ours especially, because there's many components to a good Thanksgiving dinner for us, because I know other people have different foods. They don't have what we have. So I'll say we have turkey and gravy and mashed potatoes and stuffing and a carrot and broccoli vegetable with cheese sauce, a nutty baked sweet potato dish, rolls, and pumpkin chiffon pie with whipped cream for dessert. And I gave it all those things because it's a whole group, and I don't think you could have any one person in the movie have a it be rated just for that person. You have to have the whole cast, because even without one of them, even without the people at the bus station, which probably they have the smallest parts of all, um, it just wouldn't be the same movie. And they all make for the funny, especially the bus station.
No, I think the doctor has the smallest part.
Oh yeah, the doctor.
The people in the bus station do have multiple scenes.
Yeah,
they get
they
to
do.
come back and everything.
The doctor there's a doctor involved in an emergency room setting who has a couple scenes, and even he's funny. And I mean, his part is so small, but I just think all of it made for a special, funny movie. And it's really, I think nowadays, and this wasn't made nowadays, it's movies that say they're funny aren't really that funny, because the humor is, oh, it's I don't know how to say it without offending
It's
anybody.
raunchy.
It just isn't. Yeah, it's raunchy.
It's
okay?
fucking raunchy.
And I don't like. I'm sorry. I guess I'm a bad person, but I don't like raunchy
But
humor. I never have.
But the thing is that being raunchy, uh, doesn't automatically make a movie bad.
No, it doesn't.
Because the American Pie movies are fantastic.
Well, see, I've never seen them.
Well, you wouldn't like them.
Probably
not.
But
the problem with comedies nowadays is that they're not even funny because they're too fucking afraid to offend anybody.
Yeah.
And so they'll advertise as being really funny, and then you watch the movie and it's this stupid, lame drama, bubbly rainbow kids movie. And here's one, Easy A. That movie it was advertised, oh my god, this is like the funniest movie ever. This is funnier than Superbad. And oh my god, it's so hilarious. And you watch the movie, and most of it is this horrible, disgusting, depressing drama about what happens when you tell lies or whatever the F. And so that's what we get nowadays. But this movie, even though it's a kids movie at heart, it is very funny, and it's a great warm movie. And so sorry about the stupid phone. You can't hear it from in here though. But my rating for this movie, I think this movie really is a kids movie. Most of all, not even like a comedy or anything else. Kids movie is what I define this movie as. And so I give this movie an American breakfast. And so here's the thing. You have toast with peanut butter and jelly. The toast with peanut butter and jelly represents the brother and his best friend because they work together like peanut butter and jelly. They're perfect best friends. They could have had a movie all by themselves where it's just all about their friendship. And then on the side of that, you have a couple of eggs, and that represents Sarah, Sarah, the little sister. And because I'm not really a big fan of eggs anymore, something about the texture and the taste kind of makes me sick in the mornings, and so I can't eat eggs. But they're nice. They're good with salt and pepper and everything. And but they don't really. They're just a small part of this big breakfast. And then you have the sausage. And now I am a sausage guy. I like sausage more than bacon. And so I really like little sausages that are skinny and like kind of crispier and saltier. Well, not like over salted, but that represents Brenda in this movie because she makes the perfect side, and she just works perfectly with everything else on the plate. And then now here's where we get tricky or crappy, because then we have the main character of the movie, the supposed main character, and Chris, the babysitter in her 30s, and she is played by a crappy artificial blueberry, blackberry breakfast bar. And you just get this gross old breakfast bar and put it in the middle of this American breakfast. And it's like, oh, look, this breakfast bar, you should just eat this breakfast bar because it has all the nutrients by itself. And you're really doing a disservice to this breakfast bar because you're eating this breakfast with it. And so, and the breakfast bar is dry, it's bitter inside, it's gross tasting, and it gets stuff stuck in your teeth, and it tastes like a stale fig Newton, and it makes you sick, and it gives you acid reflux, and you're wondering why did they put this breakfast bar on top of this American breakfast that's perfect. And so that's what this movie is, because in my opinion she is the worst part of the movie. We're going to talk about it more in spoilers. So, see you there in spoilers!